Welcome back to part 2 of this inspiring story. In part 1, we saw Leon's struggles, his moments of doubt, and the first sparks of hope as God began working in his life. Now, in part 2, the journey continues, doors open, lives are touched, and Leon discovers the full beauty of surrendering everything to God. Stay with us as we witness how the God who restores can turn rejection into purpose.
Not everyone will understand your journey. Some will mock it. Some will try to remind you of who you were. But when you walk with God, even the stones thrown at you can become stepping stones to something greater.
Leon. Hey, Leon.
Hi. I wasn't expecting to see you here. Thought you'd still be inside the center.
I just locked up. But I'm glad I caught you. You know, I've been meaning to talk to you. I've noticed you've been hanging around the neighborhood a lot lately, just walking. Like you're looking for something but not sure what.
That's actually not far from the truth. I'm trying to figure things out. Trying to find where I fit. You know, it's funny, all my life, people told me what I wasn't. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't capable. And now that I'm on my own, I realize I never really had the chance to prove them wrong.
Leon, sometimes proving them wrong isn't even the goal. Sometimes it's about proving to yourself that you're more than what they said. You do have something to give. I see it in the way you listen to people, the way you're patient even when others aren't.
Patience doesn't pay the bills, Emily. And listening won't stop people from looking at me like I'm wasting my life. You know what the worst part is? I start to believe them sometimes. I start thinking maybe they're right. Maybe I am useless.
No. Don't even go there, Leon. Words have power. You can't let their words become your truth. I've seen people who were written off by everyone, and they went on to do amazing things because they refused to let those labels stick.
You really believe that? That's someone like me, with no job, no degree, no anything, can still turn things around?
Asterisk, absolutely. And I'm not just saying it to make you feel better. In fact, we're starting a new community project next week. We need someone who can help organize supplies, talk to people, keep things running smoothly. I think you'd be perfect for it.
Perfect? Me? Emily, I don't think you understand. I've never done anything like that before.
That's exactly why you should. You'll be learning, growing, and helping people at the same time. And you won't be alone. I'll be there. The whole team will be there. Sometimes opportunity doesn't knock on a fancy door, Leon. Sometimes it's a small door, on a quiet street, and you just have to be willing to walk through.
You really think I could do this?
I don't just think, Leon. I know. And I think deep down. You know too. You've just been afraid to believe it.
All right. I'll think about it. Really think about it. Maybe this is the door I've been waiting for.
1 Corinthians 1 verse 27 But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. Leon's path has been marked by closed doors, painful rejections, and the quiet tears no one saw. But in the shadows of his struggle, God was quietly setting the stage for something greater. Part 1 ends here, but Leon's story is far from over. The next chapter will reveal the moment everything changes. Stay tuned for part 2, you won't want to miss the breakthrough, the surprises, and the way God turns his useless label into a testimony of purpose. Thanks for watching.
All right, church family, before we all run off to our Sunday rice and stew, I have a small but very important announcement. Our youth outreach program is starting again this month. You all know how much those young souls need guidance, encouragement, and sometimes just someone to listen to them. We're looking for volunteers, people who are willing to give their time, their hearts, and yes, even their patience, to work with these young men and women. I know it's easy to think, someone else will do it. But friends, God sometimes calls you, yes, you sitting right there, to step out of your comfort zone. These youths need role models. They need people who will pray with them, encourage them, and remind them that their lives are not accidents. Who's willing to take that step of faith and serve? Leon. I can't help but think you'd be great for this. Pastor. I don't know. I mean, I'm not exactly the kind of person people look up to. I'm still figuring my own life out. Leon, sometimes it's not about being perfect. In fact, it's never about being perfect. It's about being available. God uses willing hearts, not flawless ones. Every mentor I've ever met started out thinking they weren't qualified. But the moment you step forward, you find that God equips you as you go. But what if I fail them? What if I say the wrong thing? Then you learn, and you keep going. The greatest failure is to never try at all. Remember, Leon. It's not you doing the changing, it's God working through you. You're just the vessel. Alright. I'll do it. I'll help with the outreach. That's what I wanted to hear. Welcome aboard, Leon. You might be surprised to find that this won't just change the lives of those youths. It will change yours too. Leon, glad you made it. I wasn't sure if you'd show up. You know, sometimes when people say yes in church, it's just an emotional moment, but you actually came. That means a lot. Yeah. Well, I wasn't exactly sure why I raised my hand, but I figured I'd keep my word. I've been thinking, maybe it's time I stop just taking from God and actually give something back. Even if I don't feel like I have much to offer. That's where most of us start, feeling like we have nothing worth giving. But God's never been interested in what's in our pockets. He's always been interested in what's in our hearts. You may not see it yet, but He can use even the smallest act of obedience to do something big. Pastor Mike, can I talk to you about something later? Of course, Jason. But before that, meet Leon. He's going to be helping out here. Hi. Hey, Jason. What's up? You know, when I was your age, I didn't think anyone wanted to hear what I had to say. I thought grown-ups wouldn't understand. But I've learned that sometimes, the people who look like they have it all together have actually been through the same struggles you're facing. So, whenever you're ready to talk, I'm here. No judgment. No preaching. Just listening. See? You've already started serving. It's not about programs or microphones, it's about moments like that. Small beginnings. Seeds planted in quiet conversations. Maybe this is what I was looking for all along, not recognition, not applause. Just the chance to make a difference. And if you stay faithful in the small things, Leon, you'll be amazed at what doors God will open for you later. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to share something very personal today, not because I enjoy telling my story, but because I believe someone here needs to hear it. A few years ago, I was not the man you see standing before you. I was broken, angry at life, and convinced I had nothing to live for. Every morning felt like a battle I couldn't win. I avoided people, I avoided responsibility, and I certainly avoided God. There were days I wished I wouldn't wake up the next morning. I thought my existence was a mistake. But one day, someone spoke to me, not about my failures, not about my weaknesses, but about a God who saw me at my worst and still loved me enough to give me hope. They told me that my story wasn't over. And that was the first time in a long while that I allowed myself to believe that maybe, just maybe, my life could change. I didn't change overnight. But I began taking small steps, praying even when it felt like no one was listening, reading the Bible even when I didn't understand half of what I read. And slowly, things began to shift. I realized that God wasn't waiting for me to be perfect. He was waiting for me to be willing. Willing to surrender. Willing to start again. Some of you here today, you've been hiding your pain. Smiling in public but drowning in private. I know that feeling. And I want to tell you, it's not weakness to admit you need help. It's not failure to reach for God's hand. You don't have to fix your life before you come to Him. Come to Him, and He will begin the fixing. I'm living proof of that. So if you're here today and you're tired of carrying the weight alone, I invite you to do what I did. Lay it down before the one who can carry it all. Because there is nothing you've done that is too big for His forgiveness. And there is no wound so deep that He cannot heal.
This young man, he has something special. We could use a voice like his.
Hello. This is Leon.
Good evening, Leon. My name is Mrs. Thompson. I'm calling from New Horizons Foundation, a Christian-based NGO. Were you the one who shared your story at the youth outreach earlier today?
Yes, that was me. I was just sharing what God has done for me.
Leon, I have to tell you. Your testimony was powerful. Not just the words you said, but the way you connected with those young people. You spoke like someone who's walked their path, who understands their pain, and who believes in their future.
Well, I've been where they are. I know what it feels like to be written off, to think you have no value. But God, He picked me up. If my story can help someone, then I'll tell it 1,000 times.
That's exactly why I'm calling. Our organization has been praying for someone to step in as a youth mentor, a role that needs more than just skills. It needs a heart. Leon, after hearing you today, we believe you're that person.
I'm sorry, Did you just say youth mentor? With your NGO?
Yes. It's a paid position, full-time. You'd work directly with at-risk youth, guiding them, training them, and sharing the hope you've found. We've seen many speak, Leon, but something in you was different. You weren't performing, you were reaching.
You're serious? Me? I don't have fancy qualifications or degree in social work. I've made mistakes. Big ones.
Leon, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for authenticity. The best mentors are those who've survived the storm and can guide others to shelter. Your scars tell a story they need to hear.
Mrs. Thompson, I don't know what to say. This feels like an answer to prayers I didn't even know how to pray.
Then maybe, Leon, this is God's way of saying, it's time. Will you at least come in tomorrow so we can talk details?
Yes. Yes, I will. Thank you. Thank you for seeing something in me that I couldn't see in myself.
We'll see you at 10 a.m. in Leon. Get some rest tonight. Your new chapter is about to begin.
Lord, you really do make beauty out of ashes. Thank you.
Leon, you've been walking back and forth like someone who's seen an angel. What happened? Did you hear some good news?
Mom, you're not going to believe this. You remember how I went for that youth outreach today? I shared my story. Just trying to encourage some young people.
Yes, I remember. I prayed before you left that God would use your words to touch lives.
He did, Mom. And more. A woman from an NGO, New Horizons Foundation, was in the crowd. She called me tonight. Offered me a job. As a youth mentor.
A job? Leon. Are you serious?
Not just any job. A paid, full-time role. Where I get to do what I've always dreamed of, helping others find the hope I found. Mom, they said they've been praying for someone like me. Me. After everything I've been through.
Leon. They said you were useless. They said you'd never amount to anything. I've heard neighbors whisper. I've seen people shake their heads. But I always told them, God isn't finished with my son. And now. Here we are.
Mom. You never gave up on me, even when I gave up on myself.
That's because I know the one who writes our stories. People may write you off, but heaven has the final word. And tonight, heaven has spoken loud and clear. Come, let's thank him together. This isn't just a job, Leon. This is a testimony. Father, you saw my son when no one else saw him. You lifted him from the pit and placed him on solid ground. Thank you for proving every lie wrong. Thank you for showing that with you, nothing is wasted.
Lord, I don't deserve your goodness, but I receive it with all my heart. Thank you for turning my pain into purpose, my shame into a platform. I will serve you with this opportunity you've given me. Thank you, Mom. Well, well. Look who's sitting like a man with good news. You're not wrong. A lot has happened since the last time we were here. I can tell. The last time we met, you were, let's just say, carrying a lot of weight. What changed? You know what changed? It wasn't just the job offer, though that's incredible. It was the moment I finally surrendered everything to God. Not half, not some, everything. That's the key, my friend. People think surrender means losing control. But it's the opposite. It's handing the wheel to the one who knows the road better than you ever could. Before, I was trying to fix my life piece by piece. I thought if I just worked harder, tried harder, maybe I could earn my way back to something good. But the truth is, my strength was never enough. The moment I let go, really let go, he took over. And now, things are happening I couldn't have even imagined. That's how God works. He doesn't just patch the broken parts, he rebuilds the whole foundation. And when he builds to last. It's humbling, you know? To realize that all this time, I was holding on to my plans like they were my lifeline, when in reality, they were holding me back. The surrender wasn't easy, it felt like jumping without knowing where I'd land. But somehow, I landed in his hands. Leon, I've watched you fight, fall, and get back up. But this is different. This isn't you struggling to survive anymore, this is you living in the overflow of grace. Exactly. And it's not just about me anymore. This new role, they're trusting me to speak into young lives, to guide them, to help them see what God can do. I'm not just getting a job. I'm stepping into a calling.
They raise their cups for a toast.
To the God who takes surrendered lives and writes the best stories. To the God who turns our mess into his message. Church, today is special. We have with us a young man who has been through the fire and come out refined. A man whose story is living proof that God is still in the business of transforming lives. Please welcome Brother Leon. Good morning, church. I stand here today as someone who knows what it's like to be labeled, to be written off, to be counted out. Some of you know what I mean. People have looked at you and seen failure, mistakes, or even trash. I know because that's exactly what they said about me. But here's the truth. Man may call you useless, but God sees treasure in the trash. He sees a diamond in the dirt. He sees a story worth telling. And when you put your life in His hands, He will prove every doubter wrong, not because you're perfect, but because His power is made perfect in your weakness. I used to think my mistakes disqualified me from being used by God. But I've learned something. Your past doesn't disqualify you, it prepares you. It gives you compassion. It gives you empathy. It gives you a testimony. And when God redeems you, the same mouth that cursed your name will one day testify about your change. Church, trust His timing. You might feel like nothing is happening right now. You might be praying and hearing silence. But let me tell you, delay is not denial. While you're waiting, God is working. He's preparing the right doors, the right people, and the right moments. And when it's time, you won't have to force anything, it will fall into place in a way that only He can arrange. I am not here because I was strong enough to climb out of my pit. I'm here because God stepped in, reached down, and lifted me up. And now, I'm standing not as a victim of my past, but as a witness of His grace. So if you're here today feeling like you've been forgotten, I'm here to tell you, you are not forgotten. You are loved, you are seen, and God is not done with you yet. Let Him have the final word over your life.
At the youth gathering.
He's here. Leon's here. Hey. I miss you guys too. How's my favorite crew doing today?
Better now that you're here. We were just talking about the new football gear you got us.
Well, you all deserve it. I told you, this place is about more than just keeping you busy. It's about giving you a place to dream again.
Leon. Can I tell you something? Before I came here, I didn't think I was good at anything. People. They made me feel small. But you make me feel like I can do something with my life.
Listen to me, never let someone else's opinion decide your worth. They can't see what God sees. You have gifts, purpose, and a future. And I'm going to be here to remind you of that, every single time you forget.
All right.
I know what it's like to feel like the world has no use for you. I know what it's like to be overlooked, laughed at, and called names that cut deep. But let me tell you, those words are not the final word over your life. God's word is. And He calls you loved. He calls you chosen. He calls you His. They said I was useless. But God said I was chosen. And now, I get to help others see their value, the same way He helped me see mine. Every smile, every laugh, every dream reignited in this place. It's proof that no one is too far gone for grace.
At the talk show.
When I look back, it's hard to believe I'm the same man who once felt invisible. Forgotten. Useless. Back then, I thought my mistakes had ended my story. But God, He was only turning the page. He took my pain and made it a testimony. He turned my shame into a platform. And the very streets where I once wandered lost have now become the ground where I plant seeds of hope. If you're watching this and you feel like life has written you off, remember my story. They said I was useless. But God said I was chosen. And if He can do it for me, He can do it for you. When God takes over your story, no chapter is wasted.
1 Peter 2 verse 9 greater than, but you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of Him who called you out of darkness into His wonderful light. Leon's journey is proof that God's plan is never limited by people's opinions. From rejection to restoration, his story reminds us that when we surrender fully to God, He turns what seemed like the end into a brand new beginning. Truly, they said he was useless. But God said he was chosen.